for tuning in to yet another episode of the Conversation Podcast here at Mccurdy's Comedy Theater. Today, Les and I got to sit down with the very, very funny Al Romas, who's our headliner this week, and our feature act, Mike Cronin. We talked about a lot of different things this week, and the conversation starts off talking about another fellow comedian, Pat Godwin, who's played our club before, and just kind of talking about his life and his relationship and how hard it is to date and be a comedian. And I hope you enjoy this one. I had a lot of fun, and give it up for my guest.
Welcome to the conversation.
So, welcome to the conversation. We're in McCurdy's green room. This is where the comics hang out. And as much as we can just capture the natural conversation that we have while the show's going on, that's what it's all about. It's not an interview. And we have Mike Cronin right here. Say hello.
How's it going?
That's Mike's voice. It's really nondescript. It could be anybody's.
Of course.
Is it Mike? Do we really know?
We don't know.
We don't know.
I don't know. And this is
podcast.
Al Romas, he's not sure about anything.
I'm not. I'm world of confusion. Which, after many, many years.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
And Mike, our producer.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mike.
There we are. Oh, so yeah, Pat. Pat. I mean, I think there was two different times with Pat where he came and he's like, I've met this girl and it's just unbelievable and everything's great. And then 15 or 18 months later, he comes in and it's over. Yeah. And I think he did it twice. And I was like,
and one of them has he has a son.
Adopted the son.
Well, he adopted the daughter. He had a son.
And had a son. That's right.
Right. So that's a little, mine looks pretty simple.
A lot of alimony there.
Yeah, a lot of it stuff going on.
Yeah, because you and Val never had children.
We didn't have children.
Yes.
We have a house. That was it.
That was it.
So, yeah.
It's easy to work that out.
It seems to be. I don't know. I don't want to say
anything.
I don't know how easy it's going to be.
And always remember, anything we say can be edited out.
Right. Okay.
So all you have to do is say, don't leave
that
in there. No, we won't.
Exactly.
It ain't about exposing anything at this point. Just chat.
No, it's all good.
Well, that's good. It's good. It was amiable. Is that your correct word? Yes.
That's the word.
And do you? And I always wonder. I said to Pat after his third one, I was going, do you think traveling as much as you do was the key? Was really the when you look at, and he said yeah, and he goes, but the goof is, in the beginning, it's all, you talk to them about it. You talk to the one, and they're like, no, I got no problems with it. I'm good with it. Yeah. But over a period of time,
I think there's probably, I don't know. She never said anything ever about the travel.
No,
never bothered her, and we always kind of made it work. I would come back, and it was kind of fun, and we'd have a good time. But I think honestly, when you look at it, I think the travel definitely weighs on.
Well, it has to.
Yeah,
you're just not there.
Yeah,
I mean,
never there.
You sign up for a marriage, and the other person isn't there.
I mean, it's the reason I have a club.
Yeah,
I mean, not shitting you. I mean, when Pam and I were moving towards marriage, I went, when we first got married, I told her, I said, I will never take more than 2 gigs a month, which would put me out 10 or 12 days a month.
Right.
And she was cool with that. And I said, I'm no more than that. Because I have guys that are salesmen that are away from home that much. But I just felt like, and that's half the year.
It is.
And that's pushing it a
little
bit.
I was doing 2 weeks a month. That's what I whittled it down.
Yeah.
But that's 14 days.
Yeah.
And, of course, when you take gigs, something comes up.
Yeah.
Oh, so-and-so is having a party.
Right.
When is that? Oh, Saturday. I can't go.
Right.
And it's got to get old. I mean, you're not available.
Exactly.
If you give me 6 months, I can put that in my calendar. Yeah. But otherwise, I'm not going to cancel a week.
You start treating your wife like a club.
Well, that's it. Yeah. But how am I going to cancel a full week to go to a party?
Right.
For 3 hours.
Yeah.
Neighbors don't realize that. It's like, hey, if I go to your party, I don't make any money all week.
Right.
It's not like you. Maybe you don't go to work Saturday or Friday.
Yeah.
My whole week's gone.
That's right.
And then the next week I'm off.
Right.
So now we're going into 3 week. The third week, still no paycheck.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you can't do that.
No,
Well, I can't anyway.
Well, yeah. You have to be at another income
Yeah.
level somewhere down the line.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
that, or you got to start selling something illegal. Something illegal has to start happening.
I know. What's illegal anymore? You can't-
don't know what's illegal.
Yeah, you can't.
What is
It's all legal now. Everything's
Everything's legal.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah.
So, you think you're gonna stay in Tampa?
I don't know. You know, that's for me with the cruises, it makes sense to be in Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and but lately I've been doing the 6,000 passenger ships. Wow. And they're out of Lauderdale
Okay.
or Miami.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah. That's not a big move.
it's not a big move.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know if that would. If they'd even be worth it to me, you know, I'm
Right.
kind of set up here in Tampa.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, over 3 hours, 4 hours. to get
Yeah,
over there.
or even a 25-minute flight.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
So,
Right. Right.
so I don't know. We'll see.
6,000
6,000
people on a boat.
Yeah. Have you ever done ships?
No.
I just got off of a
What were you
little
on?
cruise. Well, I was on one of the little carnival cruises.
Oh, okay.
It was a friend of ours got married, and they're a couple. George and Carol have been together for 10 years. And then finally, when people have been together that long and they decide to get married, there's some tax break. There's some
Right.
financial, generally, because they go, we're already
Yeah, yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But anyway, they just decided, hey, we're just going to do a little 5-day cruise and go on something that's not too expensive. And anybody wants to come, just tag along. You know?
Okay.
So that's about 40 people. And that's about my third cruise.
Where was that out of?
Tampa.
Oh,
Went down. We were supposed to go to Havana, and that's what got me excited about it.
I know.
And then they put the kibosh
Yeah.
on that, so it went over to Grand Cayman, and
Yeah,
you know.
I did 3 Havana cruises, and it's like you show it because I love cigars, and it became like you're showing me this adult Disney World, and now it's gone. Like you know what I mean? I wish I'd never seen it. I wish I'd never been there.
Oh, yeah.
It's so unbelievable, and you know, I mean, where you're just looking at the greatest cigar in there, you know, and it's $6 American,
Right.
You know, that kind of thing.
Right.
It was killing me. And then I took one on a small, because you have to be a small ship to get in there.
Right.
So I took an 11-day thing on this tiny little Royal Caribbean ship because it's going to go to Havana twice.
Oh yeah.
And then I get there and there's no Havana. Now I'm on this little tub for 11 days
Right.
going to
Now, when you buy
Nassau.
the cigars over there, you can bring them back.
Yeah, up to 100 each time. So yeah,
Did you bring 100?
I probably I mean I was getting Venmo'd from friends.
I was gonna say.
Friends
Oh, wow.
are
Of
Venmoing
course.
me while I'm on, going, you know, here's $200. Can you do this? Can you do this?
Yeah.
And I mean, like I said, it's so dirt cheap that you just keep buying sticks, and it doesn't.
Sure.
You can't spend that money.
Right.
Everyone gets into Havana, and you change your money over,
Right.
and almost everybody, when they come back, has to get some money back. You can't spend that money.
Right.
I mean, literally, it's nothing. Rum drinks, or they turn out to be about $1.75 American. You know, doubles.
Yeah.
I mean, it's impossible.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah, but
Yeah.
it's gone for now.
I was yeah, it's gone for now. I think they'll open it back up.
I
Yeah,
hope.
when I was over in Spain, Pam and I did a Spain-Portugal thing this year.
Oh
with
yeah,
a bucket list
I
thing.
saw you on.
Oh yeah, they put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I used to say don't post my shit on Facebook till we get home because it just tells everybody you're not home.
That's true.
Yeah.
You know what
that's
I
true.
mean? It's like, hey, I'm going to be gone for another week if you want to try to rob the
Yeah.
house again. But now my daughter, who's 25, and I'm a granddad now, by the way.
Are you really?
Yeah, Taylor
Your
had
daughter's
a-
25.
She's 25 years old,
Holy,
and
that's
so
crazy.
she's at the house when I'm gone.
That's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
I say again, you know, it happens every day. It happens 1,000 times every day. But when it happens to you, when the baby that you saw be born has a baby, it's a little disturbing.
Yeah.
I remember.
It's great and wonderful and
I remember
weird.
her at the not the last club, the one before, the kitchen.
Yes.
I mean, she was 5,
Yes.
6,
Yes.
little kid, just a little.
Yes,
Yeah.
because that was let's
was
see,
that?
we're going into our 5th year here. We were
big
14
kitchen.
years, so that's 19. So you're talking about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, she was 4 or 5, toddling
Yeah.
around.
That's
you
when
know?
I met you at the big,
Exactly.
the big kitchen.
Exactly. Oh no, it's freaky.
Yeah,
it's
man.
just freaky.
That is.
And,
Wow. What did she have? Boy, girl,
boy, little boy,
Nice.
and he's a wonderful baby. He's just a chill baby. He's one of those babies that just doesn't cry a lot, doesn't get upset, smiles, just happy.
Good for you.
He's just happy as shit.
Yeah.
So it's good. Good for her.
Excellent. That's
Good for her. So yeah.
Wow. Do you have kids?
Nope.
No kids?
Nope.
All right. Good.
No kids. Not married.
Wow. What are you, a comic or something?
I am.
Yeah.
Comedian?
A smart one.
Comedian.
Smart comic.
Yeah.
No kids.
No doubt. It's the way to do it.
That's
you know?
for sure. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Are you still staying on the ships a lot?
Well, I mean, I was doing a week on, week off.
Yeah.
2 weeks a month.
And you're always over with Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean, yeah. And I do like I was telling Ken last night. I whittle it down to like I do, like the Borgata, Atlantic City,
Right.
great room. I do like maybe this room, Port Charlotte. Just a couple of, and then the
Convenient.
rest is convenient, and yet I can't afford to go. I mean, the road is, as you know, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's
For a comic, if you can draw, I'm sure it's great.
right.
But if you're just a regular comic, I just don't. I can't do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the road begets the road at a point in time.
Yeah, you have
know
to
what I
figure
mean?
something out. You have to get a niche.
That's right.
And you have to go. I'm going to do cruises, or I'm going to, I'm going to do some writing, or I'm going to.
Right.
You got to do something.
Right. I think there's to me that the process that should be natural for comedians if you're thinking it through is that my first thing is I got to get to headliner.
Right.
Then once I get to headliner, I've got to get that core block of work that keeps me, sustained and living a human being lifestyle. Then I think at that point you need to somehow figure out a long-term goal.
Yeah, but
with an exit
But
strategy.
you're talking about comedians, and
I know,
so
they
there's
won't
no
do it.
thought at all. It's just
No.
we all got in it, and then we were on the road, and then 20 years pass, and then you go, oh my God, like what the hell's happening here?
I know. And you got nothing in your bank account.
Yeah,
and
I'm in
you're
the
like,
big kitchen next week.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? Like
I
this
know.
is not happening.
Yeah.
You know, but there's no, like I remember a couple of years ago I was at the Improv in Tampa, and I did a Wednesday night. So who's the booker of the Improvs? Do you know?
Is that
it
Bob?
Stroop?
Yeah.
Stroop.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there for Kansas City, and it was like, so he said the headliner dropped out. Could I do tomorrow night? And he goes, "Are you available this weekend?" And I said I was. Thursday. And he goes, "Oh my God, that's great." He goes, "Can you do Kansas City Improv Thursday through Sunday?" And I go, "Well, I would have to get a flight, in the next couple hours." But I go, "What's the money?" And it was like $1,200. Now, what's my air going to be? Half?
Yeah.
At least?
Yeah.
And what am I going to spend? Am I going to go out to Kansas City for $300, $400?
Yeah.
I go, I can't.
Of course
and
not.
that was a gig I would have killed to go do.
That's right.
Headline the Improv in Kansas City. Oh, awesome. And I'm
yeah.
turning it down because I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, right.
And then I thought he was lowballing me. So I called TJ, TJ
Mark
in LA.
Walters.
Yeah, an agent. And I just said to him, I go, TJ, Kansas City Improv, headlining Thursday through Sunday. He goes, I don't know, 1,200. I go, oh, geez. I go, wow. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, So no, couldn't do it.
Well, you're exactly right. It just that's where I think you comics need to look at a back end, man,
Right.
with an exit, which means I'm going to get famous in a region. I'm going to focus myself on just a region.
Right.
See if I can get regionally
be that guy,
famous.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, this is how hard it is to put butts in seats. You take you're a comic, and you've worked this club 15 times.
Right.
Over the past 15, 20 years. You worked this club 15 times. Wouldn't you would think, and they love you. They love you. You kill there. And you would think that, okay, they're paying me $1,500, maybe $2,000, for the week, but something like that. And they don't cover my travel, and they put me up. You go, all you need is 300 fans.
Right.
300.
Put in, yeah.
Then you go in on a Monday night, charge $20 a ticket, take the door because you're not even open on Mondays.
Right.
If I can fill your room up, less expenses or something. So say you got 90% of the door at $20. You make more money.
Yeah.
in one night, twice, double. You double your money in one night, done. But yeah, as I say, that's how hard it is to put butts in seats.
Yeah.
I've tried to take some acts and try to get them drawing power here.
Right.
You know, Bruce Ayers is the only one I know that ever did that with acts before they got famous. The Birmingham, he pulled it off there, but it's a bigger market.
Right.
But I've never been able to pull it off.
Well,
you know?
It's
I was with Larry the Cable Guy a couple weeks ago, and he told me that he goes by Larry because of you.
Well, he goes by the thing about Dan was that he was in a situation where he didn't see he couldn't see the forest for the trees, which is real easy. He was doing Larry as a radio character on the #1 radio station in Tampa Bay. It was Ron Bennington, who's still kicking ass on it. I saw him up in New York just recently at the Comedy Cellar. He said he just got back into doing stand-up.
He's doing stand-up now.
He was killer funny. Yeah. So anyway, he was doing that #1 morning show in the area by far, and Ron Bennington and Diaz. The deal was, you're a comic. We want wild characters as phoners and in the studio. If you come up with one that catches on, you can't do it in your act. Because we want the people here in Tampa Bay.
Was he working at the station with them, or was he a call-in?
He was mostly a call-in, but then they would bring him in. The deal was, you be Larry the Cable Guy as a regular phoner, but you can't do it in your show because we don't want anybody in the area to know that these characters are not real characters.
Right.
But then we will bring you into the studio as Dan Whitney, just as Dan, every so often to promote you, who you really are, to try to drive you. You know what I mean? And that was kind of their deal. And then they sold Larry the Cable Guy for President T-shirts. I think it was during Clinton or something like that. And told him they'd give him half the money. They sold 10 times more T-shirts than they thought they would ever sell. And they screwed them. They basically said, hey, you know, we thought we'd sell a couple thousand T-shirts. We didn't know we'd sell 15,000 T-shirts. Right. And it's the power of our show that moved those shirts. So I think they gave him $2,500 or something like that.
Never the talent.
And he was just livid, you know. He goes, fuck, you guys are millionaires. I need this fucking money.
Right.
You know? So he was telling me this whole story on a Friday night before when I had the weekend room at the Holiday Inn Airport Marina, doing 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, 1 show Sunday. And we're sitting there, and he's oh, I know what it was. I had actually put on his description, heard on the Ron show, Larry the Cable Guy, because I didn't know that you weren't supposed to do that. Nobody informed me. And Dan goes, none of the club owners have ever done that, and here's why. And he explained it to me. And he goes, so I said, well, what are you going to do now with that? He goes, fuck them. Fuck it. I'm done. I'm just back to my act. I went, but Dan, man, you sold 15,000 shirts as Larry the Cable Guy. I said, not as Dan Whitney. I said, I'm pretty sure I can. I know how many tickets we're selling for Dan Whitney. You know, 0. Right. And you're great. You know what I mean? As Dan Whitney. Right. I said, why don't we try the Larry the Cable Guy thing this weekend? Just throw it in the middle of your act. Just throw it in the middle of your act. Just go into it, fuck around with it. Who gives a fuck? It's us. Yeah. And he did, and 75% of that audience nearly jumped out of their chair. You know, and then the late show, he did his whole act as Larry the Cable Guy. And of course, again, kablooey. And then it was, you know, then you go bing. Then he saw that this really is, and then he worked very hard to develop that character up to, I think he's up about 80 million. Forbes says now.
Maybe.
I think Forbes has him pegged at
it's
about
amazing
80.
Too that he's one of those guys that like, sustained it. Yes. It always seemed like I got it and I get it, but I thought, you know, it has its audience, and then it's gonna be like the next generation's gonna be like, well, I don't like that. Right. But he's been able to it just continues.
He just, you know, and you know, hand it to Dan.
Yeah.
He worked. It's no fluke. You know, he calculatedly works very hard to develop those markets, build those numbers up, and then and then gives them, stays in their head, stays on top.
Where did you? Where were you working?
Omaha.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he lives out there now.
Yeah.
Oh, he lives there?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a home in Nebraska. I don't know if he still keeps his one in Florida. He used to have one over in Sanford.
That's the last I knew.
Yeah. But I know he's a big Nebraska guy. He grew up there,
Yeah. That's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, that was one of those things. You so many times all of us see things on the outside that the person can't see, and it's right in front of them.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But they can't look at it objectively. Kind of a thing.
Well, that's the other thing you were saying about drawing people too. If you do shows in a club over 10, 15 years, and the shows are good, you would think through, even with Facebook, Twitter, you could bring back 300 people. You would just think.
You would think.
You can't.
I mean,
it doesn't happen.
No, and I mean, I've got a half a dozen acts that come in here, and it's just the nature of their shows and how their shows close that get a standing ovation 50-60% of the time.
Right.
They don't sell tickets either.
Right.
And I mean, it's the wildest thing. I mean, they might do a little better than normal, but nothing like, because it's still that magic fucking box up there.
I have
got to be in the TV.
Yeah. Like at the Improv in Tampa, Bob went, a year or two ago, was like, let's do I think he was closed on Wednesdays. So he's like, let's do a Wednesday night. He goes, I think you could put in close to probably 200 people here.
Yeah.
On a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I was like, great. And then we're going to do, the door and all that. Maybe 70 people.
Right.
And I was like happy with that because I thought, I don't even know how the 70 came, But he was like, I thought it would be. I go, and even though I've done all these shows there and you promote it and all, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
To get them to actually come out of the house, get in the car, pay, go there,
they need to see you on the screen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even though, how weird is it that now, in this day and time, we know all the inner workings of the television. We know broadcast, how it works. There's television shows that have been done about how it works. So it should have taken all that magic out of it.
Right.
But it doesn't.
Well, yeah, it's the regular person who just...
That's right.
It's like I was going through Netflix the other night, and I'm looking and I think, well, I'm in comedy. I know the people. I know who's out there. I didn't know any of these specials.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know who these people are.
I know.
I really didn't. I mean, I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Way, Al. I mean, I went to the Just for Laughs this year. Yeah. I hadn't been up there and probably done it in a dozen years, just to kind of get out of my little box and see what. But it is, you get up there and it's just like you don't know half of these.
Right,
people.
and those people they all have specials, but are you going to sell any tickets here?
Zero.
That's
nothing.
Yeah,
nothing. And then I've been searching for this for one of. Then last year, I got an email from a comic named Michael Q. And never heard of him? Never heard of him. Me neither. Never heard of him. And I kind of checked around, comics, like you, Al, comics coming in. You ever heard of this guy? Ever heard of it? Everybody's like, have you heard of him?
No.
No. Everybody's like, no. Called a few of the agents. Nope. So then I said, he'd sent me a few. Are you interested? I just want to do one night. I'll pack your place. I'm coming down to Florida anyway. I said, send me a list of all the clubs you've done this in successfully.
Right.
It was a who's who.
Really?
It was every great
selling out a night.
And I was like, and a lot of improvs. So I called Renee Hart over at Palm Beach, and I go, Michael Q? She goes, oh yeah. She goes, he'll pack your place. And she goes, we don't know how he does it.
Is he don't know. YouTube guy?
Yeah.
Just the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
YouTuber.
It's all online.
And he's a comic, or is it? Okay.
He's a comic. Came in. I don't think we completely sold out, but I think he did.
I was serving that night.
80%.
I had 56 people in my section, and I'm not supposed to have that many people in my section.
Really?
Yeah.
It was crazy.
So he did great numbers. I've got him booked. And super nice guy.
But he does one night.
Yes.
That's all.
And he would do whatever supply and demand is. So with something like that, nice guy and a good comic. He was solid.
He did well.
And so he's the first one.
Yeah.
But a lot of times when I do something like that with him, you'll go let's do it Monday. Well, it doesn't matter. You take Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
If it sells out with enough time, we'll add the other day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just in that same light, and so he's the first one that has done that. And then
how do we not? Does he target the area?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he does. And now I've got this guy called me that's got this show, the Love and What's it called?
Love Connection? No.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
It's a mock game show. Love and Marriage or something like that. But it's a mock game show. And he goes, hey, man, I live out in L.A., been calling for a while. He goes, I've come up with this game show, comedy format. He goes, I've done it out here. I've done it in Asia. I've done it in Australia. And he goes, everywhere I'm doing it, it's just going great.
I know who this guy is. What's his name? Do you know?
Is it Howie?
Yeah, somebody. I've seen it on. I've actually seen it online.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Did you have him here?
well, he's coming up in October.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
the thing about it was that, I mean, I'm very open with him. I go, I don't know. I have no idea if you could sell one ticket in this market. But I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try it. But about 10 days before you get here, if you haven't got 100 tickets sold, we're going to re-chat this, and maybe we just call it. And he was like, me too. He goes, I don't want to.
He doesn't want to do an
I don't want
empty
to walk in your room for less than 100 people.
Right.
And so he goes, but I feel pretty certain that I'll get a good. He's thinking he'll get at least 200 in here or better.
Have you sold any tickets?
I don't think so. They just put it up not long ago.
I've seen the clip of the guy. It's the one I'm thinking of, and he's like in the crowd. He goes around the crowd, leaves the stage with the mic. It's big. It's a couples night,
right
kind of thing.
And he gets local celebrities to be up on stage.
Okay.
And he sets that up. He didn't even ask me, who are
local celebrities?
Nope. He goes, I'll find them.
Who?
He probably does his research.
Yeah, who are they though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Springer, maybe, comes to mind.
Local celebrities. All right.
Jerry ain't coming up.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, we got Stephen King too. That'd be good.
Yeah,
Mccurdy's.
that'd be hilarious.
Mccurdy's this week. Stephen King. Jerry Springer.
Wow. Tell a few.
Who else? Brian Johnson. They're all going to be on stage.
Yeah, there you go.
Dick's
Celebrity-
mothers are all on
It's
stage.
like Celebrity Deathmatch, Sarasota.
all the celebrities that have retired to Sarasota.
Yeah.
We have them all.
Well, maybe
That's
that's the
fucking crazy.
that's the new game though. Is like the social media play where you like Mike Q obviously did something right. He targeted the area, told everybody he was coming, and they were fans.
Yeah.
Like they weren't just
Yeah.
like, oh, I heard it. But like they were fans.
But he's got them all over. When you look at the list of clubs he's doing this, they're all over the country.
Yeah.
It's not just a pocket somewhere.
Does he call you himself, or does he have an agent?
He called me.
Really?
Himself.
Yeah.
And he handled tickets, right?
Yeah.
He handled like the ticket sales.
He
didn't
he told us you'll do very few ticket sales through your website.
Yeah, it was all through him.
The ticket sales are driven through me. He goes, I do a lot of 2-for-1s and things like that, and discounted tickets and things. He goes, but most of them are going to be bought at your box office window.
Okay.
And so I'm trying it, not really knowing. And the goof was, I remember too, we went over his number.
Oh yeah.
Because what happened was, he can
It was
tell.
crazy.
He can tell what's kind of what he's going to do. So I said, we need to know how to staff this thing. I mean, I'll overstaff.
Yeah.
So I think coming up to the gig, he told Bronwyn about 150.
Yeah.
He said, it looks like we're going to get
That
about
was
100.
cute.
He goes, I'll be happy with that. And I think we did over 200. I think it was.
I just remember looking at
220,
Marcella, the
230,
manager,
something like that.
and she gave me this look like they just keep coming. Like we don't know what's happening.
Wow.
And I was like,
Yeah.
every time I look at my section, there's a new table in my
Did
section.
he do any other clubs
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
He could, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. He tries to,
Right.
tries to set all the clubs in Florida
Right.
for one or
Yeah.
2 nights,
Yeah.
depending on what he can do. And but I think to me, I mean, to try to work yourself into that thing as you get. I mean, I remember old school James Gregory and Jeff Dunham that put the mailing list cards on the
Right.
table,
Yeah.
Right.
and then collected them every night, stood
Right.
over and talked to people, and they just built databases,
Of
their
you
own.
know, and
Yeah.
they stayed in touch with them, as much as possible through the year. But then again, now James did that well without television, but Jeff was on television from time.
Right.
You know.
James, it was very specific
That's
region.
right.
That was it. He,
Mm-hmm.
whatever
Exactly.
the comedy zone, I think, right, was his.
Yeah, they had a punchline. He's in
Punchline.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but all that, know. And I think now over the past several years, James goes into a small town. He'll go out to Arcadia, and find that they've got a gymnasium or a moose lodge or something that'll hold 400 or 500 people.
Really?
And then he'll promote. He'll set the date. He'll promote himself. He'll charge something like $25. and he just does it all himself.
He
and there's
still
nothing
can do that.
nothing to do out there.
Right.
And he'll pick a specific time when there's shit going on.
Right.
And why not everybody going to go to this? You know,
Yeah.
he's got good credentials and da 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 da. And you know, he just goes to the county seat of some.
Yeah.
But it's brilliant. I mean,
Wow.
it works like
Yeah.
a charm. You
Yeah.
know? And
Funniest man in America.
funniest man
right?
in America.
Yeah.
I brought him
Based
down
on nothing, just
just because he said he was.
because he said he was.
He
That was
said he
it.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the thing is that James, when we all got into comedy, we were just 20-somethings, you know, just on an adventure. James was older and he'd already had a career. He knew how to market. He knew how to sell, and he just built it that way.
And he was in and around your time.
Oh, yeah. James played the club 4 times. He'd have at least 2 shows. All the shows would be great. Then he'd have 2 shows that people just stare at him. He goes,
Yeah.
all right, Mike.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you out there.
20-ish.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah, he's gonna do like a loose hour
Yeah.
usually. So, but
Yeah. Are we still continuing, or what are we
yeah,
doing?
yeah, we'll just talk until
Gonna
it
listen
gets
to Les?
awkward in here, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Just keep it going.
Have you've seen Les on stage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were here once before, right?
Yeah, I was here with
Yeah.
Andy Hendrickson last year.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I like Andy.
What'd you do today?
I went back to Tampa
Yeah.
and hung out there a little bit, and then just came back an hour ago. So
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Traffic
much.
all right? Nothing
that?
crazy? Traffic was okay?
Yeah, no problem.
Really?
No,
Usually everybody bitches about the traffic trying to get here.
no problem at all.
It's crazy.
You know, got lucky. And I'm gonna stay over tonight because there's radio early. in the morning.
Yeah. Real early, right? Like 7.
I think so. Yeah. Like, what really do we need?
It's a lot.
Is that gonna move one ticket? You know. All right. I'll do
Local
it.
radio.
Yeah, local radio. Exactly.
We're slow this week, just in general, because you know, the hurricane. I think a lot of people spent money on that hurricane, and then nothing happened.
Well, everybody. I got back last week or whatever it was, and it was like 10 days before the hurricane was even supposed to hit,
Yeah.
and there was water. Everything was gone.
Yeah.
They cleared it out, so it's like by the time it hits, all that shit's gonna be gone anyway. Like you're gonna drink it.
Yeah.
You're gonna use this gas that you're buying now, and
Dorian's a great salesman.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
get it. It's
I know.
crazy.
but
And realistically, I don't know. I went through Irma, and the worst thing that happened was the power went out for 2 weeks at my place
what was that last year?
2 years ago.
2 years?
And it was like, I just remember being like, the reason why the power went out, or the reason why it took so long for me to get power back on, is because FPL, the Florida Power and Light, has to wait in Georgia during the hurricane before they can flood back into the state. And the problem was they're coming back with everybody that flooded back into the state. So it took them like weeks to get to certain areas, just because of the people. It had nothing to do with anything else, just the
Right.
people. So it was like
Yeah.
people panicked for no fucking reason.
I know.
It was bad. Naples got hit hard, but like I don't know. It's gonna hit somewhere, obviously. But once it hits, everywhere else can handle it. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been here a while. I've never evacuated.
Never.
or-
Neither have I.
I'm not. I don't know. And it could be the dumbest thing move ever. Maybe I'll get flattened one time. I don't know.
I don't know.
It just doesn't seem like it ever really. Other than a rainy day or a little wind. Okay?
Yeah. And Sarasota's never been directly hit, luckily enough. But besides for Irma, the wall actually kind of touched us a little bit. And it was the first time in a long.
What was the
ass
one
time.
that took out like Port Charlotte? And wasn't that Punta Gorda?
Oh yeah, that was a while back.
Yeah.
That was like back in 06, I think. Or 03.
Yeah, it was that one. That
But that was like 5 hurricanes.
did some damage. Yeah.
That was like the year where there
had
was
a
just
lot.
hurricane after hurricane was coming for us, and
Yeah.
everybody was like, "This is the end of the world," and
It's over.
we didn't evacuate. I don't know. It was pretty much okay
Yeah.
because Florida's gonna be all right. I feel like it's the other states that can't handle it. Like,
I remember the one that hit New York,
Sandy.
Sandy.
Oh yeah.
That the winds from that blew through and knocked out our power in Cincinnati. Like,
Fuck.
yeah.
Are you
And
serious?
So we were out of power for 7 to 10 days or something.
Holy
like that.
shit. Yeah, it's because they don't have hurricane
Yeah.
proof glass up there and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, and that was a category 1, but it was just the biggest category 1
Right.
in like history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'cause it dissipated and like it just kept-
Superstorm Sandy.
Superstorm
It wasn't
Sandy.
even hurricane. It was
No,
superstorm.
it was Superstorm Sandy.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
New Yorkers, they got to name
I
it
think I had her
something
CD.
different.
Superstorm Sandy. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, that was bad.
Oh man, how's the room look tonight? Did we look?
I didn't see it. Definitely better than last night.
Was it?
Last night
Okay.
was like 61 people.
Oh.
Yeah, and it felt like it.
The bar looked packed when I walked in.
Yeah, that's always good. Last night was a weird. Even I hosted the open mic after, and there was people there, but they were just like not into it at all.
How many of those people? I saw that. How many of those people were comics?
That were watching.
Yeah,
All of them.
all of them, right?
Like maybe one comic brought like three or four of their friends.
Right.
But yeah, all judgmental comics.
well, that's
just,
it.
like-
It's
it's the worst. They're the worst audience members in the world, aren't
yeah.
Yeah.
I think at least when I started, it wasn't like, you know what I mean. You'd get an audience. People were interested at least. Where
Yeah.
it wasn't just comics. You know,
Right,
performing
right,
for
right.
Yeah, yeah.
comedians and.
we try to push that too, like where it's like you get to see local amateurs at the basic level.
Right.
And then I love it when you still see the amateurs that come in that like still treat it as a show. You know what I mean? They're out there like they're doing their best material
Yeah,
like
it's
week
like
after
this-
week, the same
yeah.
stuff, and you're like, man, you're really trying to get applause breaks in
To
this
rock
open
this
mic.
little room, huh? Yeah.
Trying to be the hero of this open mic. You're not even working on anything. Like they treat it like it's like the NBA finals or something like
Yeah.
that.
No,
We're just
it's-
playing court ball.
It's
you know what I
open
mean?
mic.
Yeah,
That's what it's called.
it's just open
Yeah.
mic.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, at least you had people though. Like when I started, you had to go on and 2 in the morning, and there was
Yeah.
a waitress and a drunk guy in the back. You're like, 5 minutes, and you walk off going, I don't even like. How is that judged? I don't know what that was. Was that good? I don't,
The guy mopping in the back chuckled.
yeah,
That's
I don't know. I don't know. That's what's insane, really, about comedy. The fact that you go back and do it again.
Yeah.
Like a normal person would be
Wanna
like,
subject themselves
fuck
to
this,
that.
I'm going home and
Yes.
I'm going to college. Or, you're not going, I want to go back and do that again. That's insane.
Yeah, last night I was hosting it and I didn't get any real laughs. And then as the comics were going up, I was like roasting them or like just not I don't really consider it roasting, but I would address their set, especially if they bombed. And I was getting laughs, and I was getting like some pretty good laughs. But like the crowd was dead, and then I went to this kava bar. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like kratom and kava. It's like a substitute for like alcohol, I guess.
Oh.
So it's like a sober place,
Really?
but it's all like college kids.
What year is this? 1940?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a
Soda bar?
exactly. It's like
Why
a
did
soda
they go
bar.
there?
Just it's like a coffee shop. Imagine like a coffee shop that's open like really late.
All right.
It's definitely like marketed towards younger
All right.
kids.
Yeah.
So I went in there. I'm like, there's people, like the hippies with the
Yeah.
braids and stuff. And I'm like, and I did the open mic there, and it's all music. So I'm like,
Those are rough.
they're gonna fucking hate me. And like I was like, they're gonna be judgmental. Like this is gonna suck. So I walk up and they're like, they forced me up on stage because I told them I was a comedian. I hang out there like every once in a while, and they've always wanted me to go up there and perform. I'm like, you guys aren't my audience. Trust me. So the owner just like kind of was like, Mike, you're going up there. Like, come on, everybody get up for Mike. He's a comedian. They said that, and I'm telling you, people were walking out of the fucking back of the room. Like out of nowhere, they're coming like the children of the corn, just walking up. Like, is it a comedian? Wow, because they're so used to music acts.
Right.
They're like, this guy's gonna tell jokes? What?
Yeah.
They all came, fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I was doing autistic jokes. I was doing vegan jokes. They loved it.
Awesome.
They weren't just like, oh wow. They were laughing their asses off, and it gave me a little bit of hope. I'm like, maybe.
Right.
I know PC culture's a little crazy, but like they
Yeah.
were digging it. I don't know. I was pretty surprised by that.
That's
but
cool.
It was a good feeling. It was better than the fucking mic here. I'm not gonna lie. I got a better reaction. I had a better set, I should say.
When
but-
did it become mics instead of open mic?
Yeah.
I don't care for that.
I don't care for it either.
Yeah.
The mic, everyone like
It's
they
more
got,
in like New York.
we got a
bigger
mic.
cities.
Yeah, they got a mic on Tuesday. They got a
Yeah,
mic on.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
really? It's called open mic.
It's open mic. Yeah.
You
They'll
not
just
have time
say
to
I
it.
don't know
open.
when that happened. The open dropped off.
Yeah.
I hate that.
And the
yeah.
mic.
It's the idea that it's not open anymore. Like they're trying to book it now, but
it-
it's still
It's an open mic though.
it's an open mic.
Yeah.
It should be sign up when you get there.
I don't know. I don't like it.
Yeah. It's weird.
I don't hear a crowd in there. I got to be honest.
Less is just bombing.
I hear less.
Yeah.
I'm not hearing anything.
It's always a rough one. Yeah.
Yeah, when I moved to Chicago, it was just all open mics of just comics, and it was to the point I just stopped going because I'm like losing faith in myself
Yeah.
on stage, and I would go like work the road
Yeah.
and do worse than I was doing before.
Yeah,
Well,
really.
yeah, because you can't tell anything. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
that's when people say sometimes in the beginning too. They go, any stage time is good. No, it's not.
No.
Yeah.
No, it can be bad. You can have be at a horrible open mic. That's not good. Just walking up on the stage isn't good.
Right.
You know, they always go stage time. You got to get stage time.
Yeah.
In the right setting.
Right.
You know,
right setting.
But just stage time. You know, in lieu of pay,
Right.
we're giving you stage time. Really?
Thank you so much for
Stage
time.
Yeah. They always hang that over your head. Stage time.
Yeah, you need it. You gotta have it.
Yeah, I need that stage time. Really? How much do you need?
Yeah.
After a while, you know, I
I got
walk
enough
up there
stage
and
time.
I take the mic out.
Yeah,
know?
eventually.
Yeah.
Do I need this? I don't know.
Well, it's like a comedy. If you're taking a did you take a class or anything?
Yeah, to the class here.
Did you do it here?
Yeah.
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 Have you ever taken a class? Or?
I took one. It was the best class because they told you nothing about comedy. It was just like be nice to the wait staff.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
Oh,
and it was all those
that's good.
things as opposed to how to do stand up itself. And
That's
yeah.
That's a better, you know.
Yeah, this was like a workshop more than anything. Like they're not trying to like teach you what humor is. They're
I
just
mean,
like
the comic strip in New York, I would hang out in the back sometimes, and I would watch, and they're going through like how to take the mic out of the stand and what to do. I mean, it's like, wow, that's a class right now. You're gonna go over this and learn how to take the stand and move it to the left.
you're paying for this?
Yeah, and the guy, you're paying a lot for this.
Yeah.
So the guy goes, yeah, it's better to move the mic stand to the left. It looks better, it's aesthetically better. Like, really?
$50. Come on.
50. These are about in New York.
200.
These are about $350 a Monday, every Monday.
It's crazy.
And they do 25 people.
Yeah. It's crazy.
My friend was working with Stanhope one weekend, and they almost ran a class in Cincinnati where they would just go on stage, count the money of everyone who paid, and then say, "Don't take classes," and then walk out.
Ah,
That's good.
that is pretty good. That's a nice little prank.
Yeah.
The funniest thing I ever saw or heard about was Gallagher was teaching a writing class.
Yeah.
And he taught one here. And I don't know if the purpose was to just discourage people from ever trying stand-up comedy. Like he's just trying to eliminate the competition,
Maybe.
like shitty people.
There's too many comics anyway,
Dude.
so I kind of like that.
He came out and was like, joke right now. Give me a joke. Give me a joke. You don't got nothing? You're not gonna make a kid. Get the fuck out of here. Joke. Give me a joke. He was just hammering these people, and like people were like leaving like in tears almost. Like Gallagher just yelled at me for an hour and a half.
Good for him.
And he was very brutal. Like he was just extremely brutal. I don't know. It was pretty funny to watch though.
Was that here?
Yeah.
Really?
Like he was just in town doing a set anyway.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm this Monday, I'm going to do this writing class. And we're like,
do a writing
guess
class.
so. And the sound guy was the one that told me about it. He was sitting in the back of the room just like laughing his ass off.
Wow.
Watching these people like freak the fuck out. You know what I mean?
Who wants to get yelled at by Gallagher?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's a very interesting person, to say the least. But him and Artie Fletcher.
You know, I've never met him,
Really?
but he will text me, Facebook message me, like all the time.
Did he talk about all the great things that he's done in his career?
Yeah, and how, whatever a club I'm at or doing, he writes to me, goes, mention my name and get me in there. And I'm like, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
Dude. Like, how about hello? I don't even know who the hell you are. And then I will mention him to like a Les or somebody, and it's horrible.
Yeah, they don't like him.
Everybody hates him.
They fucking hate him. They do not like him.
You know,
It's almost like sport to make fun of Artie Fletcher.
I don't. And then I saw he wasn't he with Gallagher?
Yeah, he came Gallagher with, yeah.
That's right.
And I don't know if you'd call that comedy.
It was him and Gallagher and somebody else.
Gallagher is fine. Gallagher gets stand up.
What is Gallagher?
Huh?
I mean, he's been around for.
It's
I'm
Gallagher,
sure
right? He knows how to do
laughs.
stand up, but like Artie Fletcher was literally standing on the stage behind him, just like commenting on everything he was doing.
But he's
then-
he's a comic.
I
Artie Fletcher?
guess so. I don't know what he does really. I don't. He was, but like the whole week he was here, he was just talking about his accolades, like to the bartender who like is 23 years old, who's never heard of Artie Fletcher, and he's like, I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that, and he was complaining about everything. He just doesn't rub people the right way. I don't know.
Well, that's it. I don't know the guy. Hey, fucker, get me in that club. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
we'll do that.
Let's do that.
Let me get right on that.
Let me get right on that.
I was on Law and Order in 1991.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Dun dun.
I played a dead guy on Law and every actor and everybody in New York has been on
Yeah, it's
Law and Order.
get the
Big
fuck
deal.
out of here.
Yeah.
I love people like that.
Wow.
I think it's just a delusional. Like they're just a delusional type of person.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. Never heard anything good about him.
No.
And I feel like I should edit this part out, but I think I'm gonna leave it in.
Nah, leave
Just
it in.
leave
Who cares?
I'll just title it Artie Fletcher.
Tag him in it.
Just
Yeah.
tag him in it. Yeah. Hey, can you get me into that club? No.
I don't think he's listening to a podcast.
No, he doesn't know what a podcast
Yeah,
is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's the crowd. I hear them.
There we go.
There.
That gives you a little hope.
Now we're moving.
Yeah, I hate those people that are like, as soon as you mention a club, they interrupt your story to be like, "Oh, how do you get in that?" And you're like,
Yeah.
I
gonna
put it
help
on.
you.
I put on Facebook last night. Mccurdy's through Sunday. If you look, there's like at least 5 guys who are I know, and they're comics. They're friends of mine in a sense. I haven't seen in a while, and they're all asking me how to say hello to Les. Get me in. Help me.
get
It's
me
like
in.
that's not the point. I was just saying I'm here.
"Yeah,
I'm not saying hey you should get in here, and
Right.
I'm gonna hook you up.
Yeah.
And if I said to Les any of these names, he wouldn't know who they are anyway.
You gotta be highly recommended.
But he's not gonna know. And
No.
And I get the club. If you can't, if I go, hey, blah 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 wants to work the club. So
Cool.
can he sell any tickets?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Well then, no. I have enough.
He's
guys.
funny. Oh, I'm sure he is.
Yeah, I have enough guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, man.
It's tough to get in here. I know a lot of people. Like I'll just be like doing like an open mic somewhere in like Orlando, and I'll, oh, he's from Mccurdy or he's from Sarasota. It was a regular McCurdy's, and then these people come to me and are like, yo, you gotta get me in there. I'm like, dude, I can't even get a fucking serving like shift there sometimes. I'm like, I wish I could help you, but I really can't. Like I don't know what power they think I have.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
Everybody, I know.
It's pretty funny. I mean, Steve White. I don't know if you guys know who Steve White is.
Sure.
He's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, he got a guest spot here. Like, he came in on a guest spot and just buried the headliner because he's so fucking funny.
Right.
But I'm like, I didn't even know who he was. He comes on the podcast. And he immediately brings the energy.
He must have been.
It's
What was
fucking
he just
hilarious.
In
He
the
lives
area?
here now. He lives here now. So he's like,
Really?
Yeah, he moved here.
Oh.
And I was just like, this guy's ridiculous. And I looked him up. I'm like, what the fuck? He has 6, like, been in 6 Spike Lee movies
Yeah.
and shit. Like, he's in Coming to America.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's a good friend of Eddie Murphy. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And like, he has a hard time getting booked as a headliner here. You know what I mean?
He's living here.
Yeah. That's what he says, yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said he just moved here, so.
I did a cruise with him not long ago,
Yeah.
and he's great.
He's great. Like the Michael Mack was, the guitar comic,
Yeah.
was like, oh, it's some guy Steve White's coming in. He's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. Because like the night before, this guy Stephen Henry come in, and that's just a local comic. He's only been doing it for like a year and a half,
Yeah.
whatever.
It's not
so he
really
goes,
fair to.
He goes, Steve White, whatever. And then
Yeah.
he looks and watches him walk in. And he's like, you were on TV when I was an open micer. Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck are you opening for me? You know what I mean? Like, it was pretty funny.
So he had never worked here. He just
No.
Steve
Steve White, yeah. He came in the first time months ago,
Yeah.
and he destroyed.
Right.
Like to the point where like the audience was like didn't want to watch the other show. Like they were just like,
Right.
bring that guy back out. He
Yeah.
only did 12 minutes. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
well, that's a tease.
Yeah, and he didn't even like do material. Like it just seemed like he was fucking around.
Yeah.
Started
But it-
grabbing stuff off the stage, like pretending to steal it and stuff as he's getting
Yeah.
brought off the stage. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like somebody like that
Right.
is hard. Like he got a guest spot here, like,
Yeah.
and you're like you've been doing it for 2 years. And you think I'm
would
gonna
have
be like
loved
get
to
you a
have seen,
feature?
what's in Michael Mack's face
Oh,
while Steve was up.
it was he was nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit.
And he's like, I don't really get nervous that much. And I'm like, my favorite part, I was
Who
like,
needs that?
I was talking on the podcast about him. I'm like, well, you got a great closer. And he's like, yeah, but that's at the end of the fucking show. He goes, I got to do 45 minutes, and then I do my closer. I'm like,
Gotta
why don't
get
you just
there.
open with your closer? Just
Yeah.
win him over, and then do your dick jokes. You know what I mean? But
What is it? Oh, it's that. It's either.
Faces of Rock,
I don't know. Oh, the head, the
The
puppets,
puppets,
the
yeah,
puppet
yeah.
stuff, that he does, which is impressive that he does. But
Right.
the thing that does kind of suck about it, he can't do that. Like, he can never. That'll always be a club act because like
Oh, yeah.
of the music.
You'll
You
never get the
can't
rights.
can't get the rights to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So he like you pigeonhole yourself for
Oh.
sure with him. But
Well, any guitar act really
yeah.
is stuck in that kind of thing, unless you have fully original, like Pat we were talking about.
Yeah, Pat.
He writes original songs.
yeah, he does. But he still has to put in those crowd favorites just
Yeah.
to keep him interested, you know. But yeah,
Exactly.
Pat's a funny guy too.
Yeah. Great.
So people get on guitar comics like, oh, hacks. They're all hacks. They're all fucking hacks.
Well,
and
there's a bunch that are.
There's a bunch that are. Yeah.
And then there's guys like Pat who are good. Yeah.
Pat.
But, you know.
Who I just think has a good. I could see him just doing stand up.
Right.
Like he's got the stand up personality.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
not
he was a
just
musician
guitar.
first and then
Right.
became a comic.
Right.
But he's a comic at heart.
Yeah, he's got that personality.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
like
very funny.
Henry Phillips.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I just work with this guy, J. Chris Newberg.
Oh no.
He's really a good guitar comic, but he's like a great joke writer.
Right.
And he was out who I was with Larry the Cable Guy. He
Oh wow. He had a guitar
we
comic
show
before.
up. Yeah, we
Wow.
went to the Omaha Funny Bone and we show up and he's like, "Do you hear Larry's coming tomorrow?" And I was like, "I don't know. I know he lives around here." And then at the end of the night, the manager was like, "Oh, Larry's gonna come in. He's working on his new hour, so he's gonna headline the first show and then feature the second show."
Feature this.
And the guy's like, "I don't want to have to follow Larry the Cable Guy,"
That's
so he
awful.
talked Larry into featuring or headlining both shows.
Yeah, that would be a pain in the ass.
Did the crowd know Larry was coming?
Probably not.
Somewhat, yeah. I
Did
mean,
they?
it was sold out in the
Okay.
middle of summer, so I assume they knew.
Right.
Yeah, that'd be a nightmare.
Yeah.
The funniest part was with Michael Mack with the Steve White thing is that he had to go out and do the interview after. I don't know if they told you about that.
No.
Doing that after off the clock interview that they do. Okay, well, be prepared for that.
What is that?
It's Les was supposed to tell you. After the show, he brings you off stage. You take some time to get ready, and then he brings you back on stage for like a little interview in front of the audience live.
What? Tonight?
Yeah, that's not my
How
department.
much
That's,
fucking interviews do we have to do? Holy shit.
and then there's one after.
After the
No,
show?
it's just yeah, it's after the show. It's after the show.
Jesus, are we getting in
Really?
the FBI?
Yes,
When did, oh my.
it's like a.
When was he going to say something?
It's an
about
interview,
this?
but I thought he told you guys about it
No.
already. No,
Maybe
damn.
he's not doing it this time.
Both of us?
He's definitely doing it. We just talked about it. In the meeting. Yeah, but he brings you both. It's funny. It's only for like 10 minutes, but
I've
you know,
never seen Les do anything for 10 minutes.
he basically it's more like 30 minutes, but it's
It's oh my god. So the show's over. We go back. No.
they live stream it on YouTube and stuff, and
Oh,
it's funny. It usually goes pretty well. So like the crowd actually will stick around and watch it, and it's
what
pretty
if the
funny.
crowd gets up and leaves?
And that's only
looks-
happened one time, and
Oh,
that was awkward. But yeah,
Does he tell the crowd before they know?
yeah, he should
right.
be.
Seems like a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of our new marketing
Oh,
social media campaign that we're doing.
Okay.
Here. So, but it's fun. Like
I don't know. You keep saying that.
it went good. Well, it
The more
didn't
you
go
say
so.
it, the less we
Yeah, I'm
believe
not-
it.
I'm
not
like, it's
believing
fun.
it.
I'm really trying to sell you guys on this.
Doesn't sound like fun. I gotta be honest.
But Michael Mack did it, but he's like nightmare scenario. He goes out and bombs after Steve White, and then he has to go out and do the interview.
It's horrible.
Yeah, he's like he didn't bomb, but he did. He
Yeah,
put on a good show. But he's like, what if that happens? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell
Wow.
you.
Did Steve do the interview?
No, he
guess
left.
not? Oh, he left, yeah.
So that kind of sucked because I thought he would have been great for it.
Right.
So I don't know.
Well, I'm leaving when I'm done. Enjoy the interview. Oh my god!
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Wow.
We
Anything
also
else we need to know before?
Yeah, we have a book club that we want you to do. So, did you read your book?
Jesus. Last time I was here, I had to do the radio, then that TV show where these people, you know,
The
like a
View?
bunch of bunch of Sarasota housewives, and they're reading my tweets to me. I'm like, what is this? And they're right here.
This is a nightmare.
So you're surrounded by these women, and they're reading tweets back at me. I'm like, I don't even remember writing that. And they go, why would you write that? That's kind of mean. I'm
Are
like,
you serious?
they're tweets. They're supposed to be mean. What's wrong with you?
I just
Who wrote a mean tweet?
Me.
Oh,
When I was on that TV show last time, The View, whatever.
oh yeah.
And the ladies are all like, they're right here.
Yes.
And then they were reading my tweets to me. That was like the segment, I guess. But I was like traveling, and I'm like writing all these shitty tweets about airlines and how I hate it and travel sucks. And these women are, because they're all trying to be, sunny and fun. And they're like, these are mean. Like, why would you write this? And I'm like, I didn't bring up the segment. It was my idea. Who asked you to read my goddamn tweets?
Yeah, if you'd have run this by me before, I'd tell you leave the tweets alone.
Right. Don't be looking at my tweets.
I just clued them in about the interview after
Okay.
the show.
Okay. Have you done that before
No.
with me? Oh, you haven't.
No.
I could have sworn you. I've done about 50 of them back at the old club, and
I never
It
did.
was right when we end. Literally, we've got some bar stools up there. We just pull them forward, and my questions are the same, and it's based on they see you as an entertainer. Who are you? And the thing is, because for years, and I get it from patrons all the time, they talk to me about comedy and stuff because they feel like I'm their buddy, and I am. They think, so many of them, Al, think that we're shot out of the womb this way. That there's some genetic predisposition that makes us funny. They're like, I could never do that. I wasn't born that way. And what we all know is that, especially since the comedy boom of the 80s on through, comics come from every part of the country, every kind of background you can possibly come up with. And when it comes down to brass tacks, some people go, "Oh, he's so funny, he must have just been born that way." No, he worked at it.
I know nobody wants to ever credit a lot of work.
A lot of work. And it's a lot of work to get to be a headliner.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
A lot of work.
But yeah, people seem to skip that.
Yeah.
part.
Oh, we're just talking. We're just chatting.
I can do that. Yeah, that's
Born
easy.
that way, and then you get gigs.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
It's pretty good.
Off to the races.
Or they just expect you to be funny all the time, like off stage.
I always feel
right?
yeah.
Do you ever
Well,
get
I
that?
always give them. You do too.
Oh, yeah.
What do you do for a living?
I
you
never say comedian.
know?
And then when I do on the ship, sometimes if I'm having a cigar, the guys will come over and they go, "Hey, we saw your show, blah blah blah, good." But then I always feel like I'm just disappointing them.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm literally just smoking my cigar,
Of course,
and looking at my phone.
Of course.
That's all I'm doing.
Well, you know,
And they're kind of like, "Hey, like,
Be fun.
we thought you were gonna be funny."
Yeah.
know.
It's like,
Well,
really?
Pam,
Who would
my,
think that?
my wife Pam, right? She'll get invited to a party, and it'll be like, "Do you think Les will come?" And she goes, "Now, why you ask me that question is this: you think if Les comes to your party that he's going to be the life of the party,
Right.
He's going to be joking around, cutting up."
Yeah.
She goes, "Let me tell you what Les is going to do at your party. He's going to find a beer and a corner."
yeah.
And if there's a ball game on or any sporting event, he'll be watching that. And if you want to talk to Les, he will talk to you about sports or golf or maybe politics or something
anything
esoteric
but
just for
comedy.
the bullshit. But he ain't going to be fun. I mean,
Right.
not that you totally aren't going to be funny.
Right, no, yeah,
But
of
he's
course.
not going to be trying to entertain anybody.
That's the key, right?
Yeah.
Trying to entertain.
Well,
somebody.
because we get that shit out of our system.
Yeah.
Right.
We
And
don't
it's-
have to do that.
No,
We
It-
don't want to.
It's a job, and you do
Yes.
it, and then when you're done, it's like when I used to travel in the car with another comic. The most annoying son of a bitch in the world is the comic he's on.
Right.
Yeah.
He's in a passenger seat reading every billboard, making jokes, and you just want to go. Can you just shut up?
Yeah.
You
Right.
can be quiet. Can't we just be quiet?
Right.
Stop trying
Not
to prove.
everything's. It's not a bit. That's not a bit.
No.
Oh, what if I did this with that? It's not a bit.
Write it down.
Yeah, write it down. Try
Write
it
it down.
tonight.
Get up, pen and paper.
Try it tonight.
Start writing.
But not on
shit.
me.
No.
Not on me. I just want to drive.
Yeah, that the comics that can't come off stage are that's a rough one to hang out with.
Yeah.
But that's what it doesn't it come down to that too over the course of years of booking a club.
Yes.
When you go, well, this guy's funny and that guy's funny and that guy's funny and that guy's funny, but you know what? That guy's a pain in the ass to be around. So
Well.
everyone's generally at some point you're pretty good.
Oh yeah.
But it also becomes a thing of, do I want this guy in my club for
Sure.
5 nights?
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's part of it. And of course, where it comes down to me, or I've actually had some comics over the years where I was going to bring them back, but literally my entire staff
Right.
went, please,
Yeah.
please.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Because they're just a pain in their ass the whole
Right.
time they're here.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And the thing about it is, if you're
I've-
going to be a pain in the ass, sell tickets.
Well, that's the thing. That's like remember the old Rodney story? When Rodney's at Vegas and Rodney Dangerfield's in Vegas, he sells out, at the MGM. And after the show, he's at the bar and he lights up a joint.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes up to the guy, "Hey, Rodney, you can't smoke pot at the bar in Vegas." and he said, when you can sell out that room, you can fuck the chairman's daughter.
Yeah.
Which, basically.
It's true.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhat.
Yeah, no one's going to say a goddamn word about my joint.
No.
Go
no,
away.
No. The
Yeah.
owners of the casino ain't calling the cops.
Right.
No.
Right.
On Rodney.
Yeah.
No.
They will on you.
On me? Yeah, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't smoke a joint in Vegas, but he could.
It'd be like if Rodney was smoking a joint at the bar and you thought, well, what the fuck?
Right.
And then you lit up a joint at the bar and then the police come or security comes and grabs you and you go, but he's smoking a joint, and they go, but he's Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah, we know who he is. That's
Yeah.
the difference. We don't know your name.
The
We know
cops
his
are
name.
Yeah.
the cops are taking pictures with him and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Shit's not fair.
It's a different thing.
Shit ain't fair.
There was, you remember, what was his name? The old guy from the Friars Club in New York. He was like the
Penny
head.
Youngman?
He was the head of the Friars Club. Oh. He's still around. He's
Jackie.
Freddie Roman.
Oh, yes.
Freddie Roman.
Yes.
I was working with him years ago, and he was telling me how he used to open for Telly Savalas, Kojak.
Oh.
Telly sang, right?
He sang. He did a show.
Yeah.
He did Kojak, where he played New York cop. If you never saw it,
Okay.
but then it was in those days. If you were popular on TV, you just had you made a nightclub act,
Right.
Because you could sell tickets,
Right.
So Freddie would open for him, doing 25 minutes stand up, and they were in Miami Beach, and it was the last night, and all the wives are there. But on the last night, Sunday night, Telly tells Freddie, "Tell your wife she's staying at the hotel. We're going out. All the guys going out tonight." So they go, "Okay, great." So they all go in and Rodney goes, "And I'm driving," and he gets behind the limo. They're going to a strip club, and Rodney's half in the bag, and he's
Rodney or Freddie?
Rodney.
Oh, he's with them too.
No, I'm sorry, Telly.
Telly's driving.
Telly's driving.
Okay, got
not
it.
Rodney. Telly. So Telly Savalas is driving, and he's drunk, and he's kind of high, and anyway, they're doing about 95 down, 95, and cops pull him over, and Freddie goes, "We're in the limo." All the guys and the cops walk up, and it's fucking Kojak driving the car. So they were just like, "Holy shit, Kojak!" And nobody has a phone, camera or anything. So they're like, "Where are you going?" And Freddie goes, meanwhile, he's like this on the right. He's just swerving all over. Couldn't be drunker. And they go, "Where are you going?" And he goes, "We're going to the strip club in blah blah." And they go, "Oh, fantastic! Follow us." And the cops gave him a let, and then all the cops were in with him, hanging out all night.
Exactly.
But that's when you're known. That's
right.
That's right.
Yeah,
you can
celebrity
do that.
status.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not fair
Well,
per se,
yeah.
but I think if any of us get the Telly Savalas fame,
Right.
we're milking it.
Well, it's like anything, any level of comedy. You could be the headliner, and then the middle actor, the MC after a show. And if you sit at the bar somewhere on the road, odds are the single girl in the club who's looking to go home with somebody is going to talk to the headliner.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's just the way. So it's not fair.
No.
but that's the way it is.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you got more money, a little more power.
That's exactly.
You know.
You
that's
did
right.
45 instead of 30.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. And every comic knows if you don't get laid by somebody out of the crowd in the show, what are your chances of getting laid just out in the general population?
0.
It is.
0.
Way down.
Yeah.
That microphone is everything.
Yeah.
And you got about a half-hour window too. You gotta,
Yeah.
because once they
You gotta-
leave, the waitresses, it's not happening.
No.
And then once you walk that door, you're just Joe
Another
Blow again.
fucking guy.
So you got a quick 30-minute-ish window
Right.
after the show.
You got to cut some. You got to identify and cut them from
Things
the
are-
herd fast.
Well, and that's when you see guys on stage where they work it and they have like this girl and that girl, and they make sure
Yeah.
that they know after the show she'll go. I'm going to meet her. I'm going to talk her up, and
Right.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
We don't get rock. We don't get like the rock star, the musicians. But you know what? Musicians probably get laid more, but they don't make as much money.
Well, they don't make anything.
They don't make no.
No.
You're exactly right. Nothing.
That whole thing is split.
Yes.
So even if they make it, say the night was $150, there's 4 guys,
Oh, I know.
and they got to set it up. Then the girl can wait an hour and a half because they got to take all that shit down.
Oh, I know.
So.
Oh, yeah.
So musicians always used to just be like, they couldn't stand comedians because you just walk in, it's already set up, you do your thing, you get paid, and then you leave. You don't have to take anything down.
Nothing.
You know.
Yeah.
And you only had to do one show, and they have to do 3.
3 sets. Yeah. They're all night.
And when I don't know about you, Al, but when I look at them, they're good, they're like a good band, and you go, those fuckers are way more talented than I am.
Oh, yeah.
You know, as far as what they had to do to learn what they've learned, to be on a stage.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, it's like you can go to any bar and watch a band, and they're great. And you go, well, then you talk to them, they have day jobs, they have whatever, and they've been doing this for, you know, it's still $50.
You know, isn't it wild that, and you can do this with an orchestra too, whole orchestra, every instrument, you know, but a singer coming to the front,
Right.
they will overpower
Yeah.
the orchestra. The human voice is more powerful than any instrument. I think it is.
But
you know, something
a lot
about
of these music, like it always, it's annoying. Like say on a cruise, I'll do, you know, you have to do like maybe a 30-minute clean show,
Right.
Then a 50-minute adult show, and then they might ask for another 20 minutes later on. You know, so that's a lot of material.
Right.
Whereas they'll book a singer to come in, and she'll do 50-minute show, and that's it. And all she's doing is covers.
Right.
She could be doing multiple nights. All
Right.
she has to learn is another song.
Right.
But they treat them like, well, that's, you know, she has 50 minutes.
Right.
50 minutes of covers.
Right.
Whereas the comedian,
We can't.
they
walk
think
in.
you should have 2 hours or more.
Right. And we can't walk in and go, oh, have you seen Al Romas? Oh man, first 10 minutes he does Pryor like you've never seen
Right.
before.
Yeah.
Then he
Does the
flows
best
into
Pryor.
some Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
he throws in some Jackie Mason just for old school.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I
then,
know.
and then he's back to Angel Salazar.
Oh,
Has anybody
really?
ever tried
My
that?
diaper?
Has anybody ever tried that, like a cover
I
comedian?
think it was done.
Well,
but you can't do their material.
No.
You can do their persona.
Impressions.
Impressions.
Yeah,
right?
but you have to have your own material.
Yeah,
Isn't there a guy out
there's
there?
a bunch of guys doing Dangerfield.
Isn't there a guy out there now doing Robin Williams?
Yes, there is. And as a matter of fact, one of my local comics Scott Novotny, who was a headliner out of Minneapolis, that part of the country, he just recently moved down here. And he just worked with that guy.
Okay.
And he showed me a picture of him. He's a dead ringer.
Yeah.
For rock. And he goes, Scott was like, he was good. I mean, yeah. He goes, it ain't Robin Williams. You
Well,
know, you really can, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, it's an imitation.
Well, he
but-
did. I know. I can't think of the guy's name. He was a comic impressionist.
Yes.
So that was like he's a good impressionist.
Right.
But I saw he's doing like an hour of Robin Williams. I don't know. That seems a lot to ask of anyone.
Yeah,
you know.
well, they worked a senior community.
Yeah.
Now, senior community, 55 and up,
Right.
you know, it's not like they're ancient or anything.
Right.
But, you know, and Scott got up there and did about 20, 25 minutes, and he's always going to rock them. And I think what I caught from him was that I think he did an hour, and he goes, you know, really, 40 minutes.
Well, it's
You know what I
that would be
mean?
plenty, yes.
Would be plenty. I mean, you
Yes.
got it as
Yes.
far as that goes.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can, Mike. You can,
But
you have to be doing an impression.
it's rare.
I just always wondered like that. Because I was doing the open mic one night, and this guy came in and he was doing Rodney. He was just doing like, he was
Right.
doing his jokes and everything. I tell you, it was doing the same fucking thing, and I was like, he's killing. Like people were dying laughing, and I'm like, I was like, man,
It doesn't count.
It's disrespectful.
It
but
I mean,
Yeah.
could a guy like that make a living? Yeah, he could.
Yeah, in the
He
right-
could. In the right situation, and this that, and the
Yeah.
other, he could make a
Yeah.
living. I mean, he's not really going. He's an impressionist. He's not a comedian.
a tribute. Act.
Yes,
Right.
exactly right.
a tribute
Like
act.
that's a big thing now in the ships
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah.
the tribute bands.
Yeah.
Because they've gotten younger, the cruisers. So now you're getting whether it's Bon Jovi tribute or they have a tribute to everybody now.
Right.
Nirvana.
But that's the same thing. Like that, they get the same money I do, but they have 5 guys, 6 guys,
Right.
Yeah, it's not
and a
worth it.
sound guy.
Ugh.
That's still divided by 6 or 7.
You can't. Yeah.
And then they got to do because the ship. The thing with the ship is those cabins.
Yeah.
So they're giving them. So where I have like a nice passenger cabin, they'll put 2 band guys in a crew cabin.
With bumps.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have grown men You know, now. Yeah. It's a tough gig, man.
It is tough.
It's tough.
I mean, I just so often I look at musicians that are great.
Yeah.
Yet somewhere, and
They're
I go,
talented, yeah.
and I go, God, they get such a shit into the.
They really do.
You know.
Yeah.
I got to grab a beer before we
Yeah.
get on there.
Go right ahead.
All right.
Absolutely. All right, I gotta go pee. Is he close or? We'll walk out and see. I got that counter up.
We'll just wrap it up, I guess, right?
We might talk to him a little
Okay,
more.
cool. I'll pause it then. We're back.
Back on the block. Al Romas on stage. His wry
I miss.
sense of humor.
This is Ross.
He's like wry sense of humor.
Yeah.
He is funny. Yeah.
He is.
He's just funny to talk to sometimes. He's
Yeah.
cracking me up about the interview. How many fucking interviews we gotta do around here?
I don't know.
It was funny.
I don't even know if we're doing radio tomorrow. I assume we are. I don't. Oh, usually we don't with Al because he
Yeah.
doesn't stay here.
Yeah.
So he would have to drive up. He'd either have to spend the night, which sometimes he has.
Well, he said he was planning on it.
What's that?
He said he was planning on it.
Oh, is he? Okay, then they probably is. Then we do have radio tomorrow.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Y'all should do a podcast on the way to radio just to fuck with them.
Tape recorder. We're recording you. We've got the condo wired up. It's like Big Brother goes funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Big comedy brother.
Knock on the door when he's in the bathroom. We got the shower cast.
Just nonstop. That's funny.
Oh man.
That'd be a funny sketch almost. Just like it never stops. Everything has to be recorded.
Yep.
Jesus fucking Christ.
So once again, when he finishes, just come on up on stage.
Okay.
There's a couple of bar stools over. We'll just pull them up. We'll just go right into it. We'll chit chat between the three of us for about 10 minutes, just some basic who, what, where, when, and then we'll let the audience. And so, it just depends. Sometimes I'm amazed. Sometimes you get an audience and might get 2 questions out of them, and that's it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get them that just like couldn't be more chatty. And
Last week you had a few, like a lot of people were actually asking questions and stuff. I felt like.
Well, I know the last one I did with April and Macy and Paul Farvar.
That was
Oh
really
man, we had to cut it off. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
It was fun.
People were really into it.
What's that?
Who was April with?
Guy named Paul Farvar
Oh, from Chicago.
from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got family down here, so that's neat that he comes down ever so often, and
Yeah,
he's really good.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
My masseuse,
Yeah.
Nani Brown.
Yeah.
She was like, she goes, I am so in love with my boyfriend, but boy, that Paul Farvar is a good looking fella. And she wasn't the only one. I had about a half a dozen women come up to me. Who's that? Is he single?
Yeah.
You know? If he could only headline, I'd go out with him.
Yeah.
He can.
The Persian Prince. Yeah.
The Persian Prince. That's a good name, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Persian Prince.
Yeah. He should open with that. Yeah.
I love it.
April's so nice, but her laugh sounds like it sounds so disingenuous.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's just making fun of you, like how bad you're. It's like
She was fun to do the
She's so
podcast
sweet.
with.
She was very fun.
Yeah.
She always is. Yeah. I don't know how she bounces her new. I guess she does all right. I mean, her husband's in Italy, you know.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
they live over in Florence, and so that's a hell of a commute, man.
Yeah. She was talking about doing stand up in Estonia or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Well, you know, there's English-speaking clubs
Yeah.
all over Europe.
yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Yeah, several comics that got in that little loop.
Yeah, they really like it over there too, apparently.
Oh yeah, what's not to like?
Yeah, that's true.
Places are great, beautiful.
I met
I might feel different if I had to make a living over there, but
Right.
you know.
I met some lady on the elevator in the parking garage going down, and she's like, "Oh, you work at Mccurdy's?" And I was like, "Yeah, because I was wearing the shirt." And she's like, "Oh, cool. I hate comedy." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah, I think it just what is it? What was her? It just makes fun of people and stuff like that." She's like completely in. I was just like blown away. I'm like, so you don't like to laugh? And she's like, "No, I didn't say that." I'm like, "Well, that's okay. Well, explain to me what you mean by that." And she's like, "I just don't think comedy's funny." And I was like, It just was so. It was
What
like.
do you laugh at?
Oh yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
What do you laugh at?
Like what do you
find funny?
Yeah, what do you find funny? I think she was trying to get at stand up funny, and I'm like, okay, I get that, I guess, but
Yeah.
I'm like, no comedy movie. She's like, no, don't think it's worth it. It's like somebody saying they don't like music.
I know.
It's very strange.
I'm glad I'm not you.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about it. I was
Well,
like,
you maybe heard me do the bit before.
Yeah.
About in true story, I'm playing golf one day,
yeah,
and I'm sitting on the tee box by myself, and I can't hit yet because the foursome out in front's still out there where I could hit them. And there's a lady working in her backyard, and she's dressed in a way that you go, that's not a landscaper that she's hired. That's the lady that owns the damn house, and it was.
yeah,
So we're in such close proximity, we start chatting a little bit. Just bullshit, nice day kind of stuff, beautiful yard, whatever. And she goes, and then she stops about halfway in. She's like, "You look familiar." And I go, "Yeah." I said, "I own the comedy club
yeah.
here in town." She goes, "That wouldn't be it." And it's the same kind of conversation.
yeah.
I'm like, I said, "You never been to a comedy club?" She goes, "Nope, don't intend to either."
Yeah.
I said, "Why?" And she said, "It's nothing but profanity. It's just base level
Yeah.
profanity. There's nothing creative. There's nothing clever about it. You know, it's just lowest common denominator." And I go, "So you don't have fun every now and then hearing a little bit of adult language?" She goes, "I do not." "Yet you bought a house in front of a tee box on a golf course."
Yeah, exactly.
You shitting me? Yeah. You hear the most creative cursing
Yeah.
on all of Earth.
Yeah.
All day.
All
All
day.
day long.
All day.
Sound like golfer's Tourette syndrome in
Yeah.
your backyard.
Yeah,
But
golfers.
that was true. That all went down, and I said, "That's fucking stupid."
It's stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of, I think it's Birbiglia has a joke about doing a celebrity golf outing. Mm-hmm. And he shows up with his group, and they're all like, "I wonder who our celebrity is." And he's slowly realizing that he's the celebrity. And they're all disappointed. He has to, like, explain to them
Who he is.
Yeah.
Why he's the celebrity.
I do stand up. Yeah. Yeah.
One of the funniest ones, I was, let me get my name straight. Let's see. Okay. Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner.
Right.
Does a big fundraiser here. It's golf for boys and girls clubs. They raise a ton of money. He's a great guy. And so everybody at this fundraiser almost is from Ohio State. They're all Ohio State people. Mm-hmm. And in the audience, there was, I think it's Trey Smith, Eddie George,
Wow.
of course Archie, and then Jameis had
Winston?
come too.
Oh, wow.
So you had 4 Heisman Trophy winners sitting in this room. And so they asked me to kind of host it, and they said at a point, we want you to auction off each one of the players to a foursome. They can bid on them, you know, to see. So I did Trey first. He was the youngest, and I think $1,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
So then next I went to Eddie George, and Eddie George is a performer, man. I mean, he's performed on Broadway.
Right.
Yeah, he's a slick dresser, good looking. You know, he's kind of cock of the walk when he comes in. You know, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
But so he's sitting there, and so I said, "Okay, let's start the bidding for Eddie." And I go, "Let's start the bidding at $500." And Eddie goes, $500? He wasn't happy with me at all. He looked at me like, $500? You know, I know. And then I stopped. He stopped, and there was just 5-10 seconds of silence. And I look around and I go, "Well, hell, Eddie, if you notice, nobody's bid yet."
Yeah.
On the 500. It's those situations sometimes you get into that there's insider shit that you don't know about.
Yeah.
But you're just responding.
Yeah.
And so when I go, nobody bid yet, everybody's dying laughing because they can't believe I'm saying this.
Yeah.
And then I go, they must have seen you play.
Oh.
People were falling out of their seats. They were
Oh, my
laughing
God.
so hard because it was true.
Yeah.
He's not a good golfer.
Oh.
He's not a good player. You know, he doesn't really play golf, you know, really.
Yeah.
You know, he'll come out to tournaments and play
Right.
and be a celebrity, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But he's not really. And all these Ohio State people, they'd been to this fundraiser before.
Right.
They've all met him.
Yeah.
They've all, you know, so they're not wild about him being on the team because he's not going to help you, unless he makes a random putt or something.
Right.
Oh man, and I didn't find out any of this till after the whole thing was over with. People were coming to me going, "How did you know?" I said, "I didn't know shit."
Yeah, you just read it.
I know.
You just made a read.
So he went out. He went for $2,500, and then I went to Archie, and I said, "Archie, I've set the bidding amount for everybody else, but I said, this is your tournament and you're the guy.
Yeah.
You tell me how much you go for." And Archie goes, "Well, let's see. Eddie went for $2,500, and everybody in this room knows I'm twice as good as Eddie because he has 2 Heisman trophies."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man,
That must have been interesting. That's fun.
yeah. But I used to. I mean, I think stand-up comedy is not everybody's cup of tea.
No.
But I do go, where do you get your laughter? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's get it somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some preachers that are really, really funny.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Great speakers,
Yeah.
And
It was just weird. She was one of those kind of, her hair was dyed, and she looked like she cared a lot about the environment, that sort of thing. So I was like, so she's probably one of the people that would like rate Dave Chappelle's new special as a 0%. Like, I can't believe he would say that. You know what I mean? So
there's some people who definitely would watch a special like that and go, that person should be jailed for what he just said. Or
Exactly.
she just said.
and that's scary.
It is scary.
That's scary.
It's the way it used to be
Yeah. It's scary.
a long time ago.
It's scary when people are going, we need to give the Boston Bomber representation in court, and they want to like take off Dave Chappelle's head. You're like, what's happening here?
Sure.
It's very strange.
Well, whenever as we all know, whenever there's a point where we need to limit what people can say in certain situations because it's because of hate speech.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
They go at it because of hate speech.
Right.
And that's based on white supremacy or gay bashing or whatever, or some against some religion or whatever, and it really is hate speech.
Really.
So they feel they're coming from a good place of going, we need to limit that. We need to, but when you limit that, you're opening Pandora's box to limit everybody's speech. Mm-hmm. And who's the one that's going to be deciding who gets to speak what way? You're going to have a body of a legitimate not legislative, legal body that can say you can't say that, and if you say it again, there's a punishment.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard hate speech before, and it's not funny.
No, of course.
And
not.
I've never heard anybody in a room laugh at hate speech. You know what I mean?
No.
I've seen them agree with it.
No.
Right?
Exactly.
I had this argument with this one woman who was trying to tell me that the subjugation of Jews in 1937 started with comedy. She was trying to tell me that Hitler was making jokes about Jewish people. And I was like, are you trying to tell me Hitler was a stand-up comedian? Is that what you're trying to tell me right now? In Germany, the beer hall pushes. Is that what he was doing? He's attempting humor. Is that what you're trying to tell me? She firmly believed that, like that humor starts as like this innocent thing, and then it snowballs into some form of like genocide. And I was like,
well,
you're crazy.
If you're thinking that way, you're going any war that you go into. You have to get your side, your population base, has to believe that the other population is evil.
Sure.
You have to believe that, and that they're all evil. That they're all evil, and that to kill them is a good thing to do.
Right.
Because we're eradicating these evil people off of the face of the earth. And how do you go to war without believing that? You're going to kill other people. Now there is part of it's just kill or be killed. You're put in a situation you go, no matter how you feel about that guy, they've got him convinced that you're evil.
Right.
So you better kill him before he kills you. Then you're just between devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah.
But still, and yet that is the way it is.
Yeah.
And once you demonize in any situation, once you demonize a group, then and in religious terms, it'd be like, if all of them when they die are going to hell. For
Right,
sure.
right, exactly.
Well, if you've already decided that when those people die from the way they live their life that they're going to hell, well then what's the big deal if you just murder them all?
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Yeah.
in that you get them into that headset.
Yeah.
And of course what we all know is even in World War II, you can't tell me that there weren't Germans and Italians and Japanese people that were in that war firing trying to kill us, that they were all evil people.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't believe that.
Can't
I
be.
believe that there's enough of it, of the leadership and enough people that got power and then said, well, you got a choice. Either you go to war and fight for us, or we'll just throw your ass in prison.
Right.
Or maybe just shoot you.
Right.
You know what I mean? That there's your choice.
Yeah.
And then you have like Hitler burned down his parliament building. Burned down his own parliament building and blamed it on communists.
Oh yeah, of course.
But like there you go. Like they'll do certain things like that to like in the public eye. Like fuck, they are evil. Like they burned down our parliament building.
Of course. Of course.
It's like that's evil. That's the evil. Is the leadership.
Well,
It's like, fuck.
and I get it. I wish I could quote where I get this shit, but I know it's mostly off NPR because I'm an NPR junkie.
Yeah, right.
But there was a guy on there talking about nationalism,
Sure.
and he was talking about how this is a strategy for nationalism as far back as you want to go. Is
Yeah.
that to keep a large population kind of under control, to kind of keep them together, bonded, you need a common enemy
Yeah.
that everyone agrees is a common enemy,
Right.
and because that allows the leadership to keep a certain amount of fear that if you're not ready to build up your military complex, to get your defenses and be ready, well, North Korea's going to come fucking throw nuclear weapons at you. Iran's going to do da. China's going to do da 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 da. You got to have that common enemy.
Yeah.
And it works. And I remember the guy citing different cultures since
It's like every
the Romans,
civilization.
and how they do it. How the leadership.
Yeah, it's like for any society to form ever, it needed a common enemy or a common goal.
Right.
And usually the goal was an enemy.
Yeah.
To eradicate the enemy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're coming to get you.
Because they're coming to get you. And I think we could utilize that and be like, our common enemy right now is probably like climate change or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, very possible.
I remember, wasn't it Reagan that said that he wondered what would happen if an alien species invaded us, how quickly we would drop all of our differences as a society, as a global society and
Well,
stuff
there's no
like
doubt
that.
about it. I mean, if we had a reason to globalize, just look at our own country. But just take America. You go, we have a lot of division in America. We always have.
Yeah.
We always have its own. It's just more publicized now.
Yeah.
But we're a massive country.
Yeah.
With a lot of different cultures and backgrounds and this that. I mean, people that grew up 7 generations in Appalachia.
Yeah.
Compared to people that grew up in 7 generations in Manhattan.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
they're all Americans. They're Americans and they're Americans.
Sure.
But they couldn't be more polar
Right.
opposite.
Of course,
but
yeah.
if somebody attacks America, them two guys, the guy from New York and the guy from Hump Butt, North Carolina,
Drinking beers
they're going to
together.
be in a damn foxhole together. They're going to be covering each other's ass because they're Americans, So if you have a common thing, and if it went worldwide, that'd be exactly it.
I know, I almost kind of hope for it. Like, maybe that'll answer some shit.
Well,
Obviously,
as a species, I believe, and it's just my own, but I believe to survive as a species, eventually we're going to need to have some kind of worldwide ruling body. You know what I mean? That doesn't
Probably.
mean we still don't have our different countries and our different cultures.
Right.
Kind of like how America has a president and legislature and the Congress, but still there's states' rights.
Yeah.
There's individual states' rights. But that just comes up with a basic moral code that goes, you can't treat the environment there's certain things, no matter who you are, you cannot do this to the environment, and you can't do this to human beings.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't be a pedophile.
Yeah.
We
Right.
don't allow that.
No.
You can't fuck up the ocean. You can't fuck up the air. You can't burn down the rainforest. You can't, and that just sets a moral code. And then you got to have a worldwide police force.
Yeah.
That when somebody starts doing that, and just like we do now with sanctions, that'd be the first thing you'd do. Is you go, you got to stop that, or nobody's going to trade with you. We're going to lock down your currency. Nobody's going to be able to trade with you. That's that.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
Right.
And or if it got down to the worst case scenario, you got to go in and take over. Kind of a deal. But
Yeah.
that's way out there. But it just seems like that's what naturally would happen sometime way out in the future. We've got to be global in decision making.
I think we've been building towards that from the get-go anyway. I mean, if you think about it, I don't get why people get all this like the main conspiracy theorists like, oh, the globalists, there's a cabal that's trying to rule the world, and you're like, fucking hope so. That's how I feel about it. Like, don't you think we should probably I hope there's people at the top know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, of course so.
Yeah.
Well, that's in any society. You can look at the society. If the people of that society are happy and content and have basic personal freedoms and
Right.
can express themselves openly and that sort of thing, you've got good leadership at the top.
Yeah.
And when you see that 80% of the country is impoverished, and there's no funding going in to help those people with basic rights,
Yeah.
to health care and to clean water and to public transportation. Well, that's a leadership. They don't give a shit.
No.
They just rape in their area for all they can.
Yeah, that needs to stop for sure.
Well, that's it. You go, and how do you do it? Quit trading with them.
Right.
My
It's
girlfriend
just-
lives in Detroit, in the really poor part, and their water got shut off before she moved in for 2 or 3 months. Nobody
Jesus.
cared to fix it. They just took their fucking time to get it fixed. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're just poor people. Nobody gives a shit.
I was just, and then and with that extreme, poor people in America, for the most part, have it a lot better than poor people in India or Africa or some of these Central and South American countries. I mean, that's a whole nother level of poor. That's just awful.
I was telling them I was at this kava bar last night, and it's all young college kids. It's like 20, 22 at the oldest, right? And there's this kid talking to me, and he seemed hopeless. Like he was just drowning in this idea of we're all fucked, and the world's over, and there's nothing we can do about it. And I was trying to instill this idea about him. It's really stupid, the wording of it, but I'm like, yeah, things are bad right now. I'm like, but it's the least bad it's ever been.
Yes.
And he was like, I don't get what you mean. I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. I would probably choose to be in Flint, Michigan over, I don't know, the Genghis Khan era. Maybe just when they were just rolling through. They didn't even ask you questions. They just cut your fucking head off. That kind of sucks, right?
That's right.
And I had to instill this idea in them, like stop having these existential crises and stop freaking out.
The world is safer than it's ever been. If you look at statistics,
It is.
Murder rates, homicide rates, death
Environmental
by war,
deaths,
all that stuff. The world is safer than it's ever been.
And you try
I
to-
mean, climate change might, but of course we went through an ice age at one point too that wiped out a lot of people. But it seemed like a bunch of us survived. And and whatever they wiped out, we still got back 7.8 billion people.
Yeah.
Somehow we procreated okay.
And it's like-
after the ice age.
And
But
you gotta I was trying to tell him be a part of the solution. My favorite analogy is if our car breaks down on the side of the interstate, and 4 of us get out, and one person's jacking the car up, one person's getting the spare tire out, the other person's taking off the fucking bolts, and then the 4th person is just sitting there bitching about Firestone. Like, who the
Yeah,
fuck?
what good are you
Who's the least productive person of
Sure.
the fucking group? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like you don't have any ideas of how to fix this tire. You're just bitching about like
Absolutely.
fuck Firestone. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
it's dumb.
And a lot of it is just propaganda, just to make you afraid.
Make you afraid.
Yeah.
Divide.
You're afraid,
Yeah.
you know, and alienate you. You know, feel like you are alienated from that other culture.
Yeah.
You know that they're so different from you. And then of course we all know anytime something happens and you get some opportunity to be immersed in that culture you've never been around before.
Sure.
And what do you find 90% of the time? Bunch of nice people.
Nice people, yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of them. Most of them.
It's annoying.
You know, that just want. We all want the same basic.
We all hold
shit.
the same basic human values. I think.
That's right.
Just different cultures, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know.
I know that because I'm super, super white. I grew up in Sarasota, so I'm devoid of almost all cultures. So therefore, I like get along with almost every culture. You know what I mean? I was like, my experience through like high school and every other school was like getting made fun of by white people. Like that's basically what it comes. I used to hang out with like the black kids and like the Asians and stuff because like the Chads and the Blakes never invited me to the pool party. You know what I mean? They're assholes. I got more ginger jokes from white people than I did from any other ethnicity. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that people are just uncomfortable with cultures than like actually skin color, if that makes sense. I don't know.
No, well, you know, people are uncomfortable when you take them out of their comfort zone.
Sure.
Yeah.
They immediately get uncomfortable,
Right.
and there is I think a smaller part of the population that when you get them out of their comfort zone and introduce something new to them, they get excited about it.
Sure.
I'm that way. I'm like, I get excited about, oh man, this is cool. You
Yeah.
know,
Right.
what
Yeah.
they're that's you know, you're watching and you're like
Yeah.
really interested, and you know, and
It's exciting.
You might leave that situation and you might go, that was so cool. I wouldn't want to live that way.
No.
That's not me.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was, or you might pick up one or two things that they did go, I don't particularly want to live that way, but boy, I picked up a couple of things that they did that was really, that I'm going to apply
Yeah.
to my own life.
Right, yeah.
You can learn from each other, and then, but there's a lot of people out there that scares them. It scares them. It makes them nervous.
Yeah.
And you know, I've said this before when we were sitting here in the green room. You know that we've always been tribal.
Yeah.
That's how you survived. Is
Yeah,
by tribal
for sure.
And we've it's only been since we've had some countries have proper law enforcement that you could not be tribal and still be protected.
Yeah.
But that's only been going on for 50, 60 years, maybe. I mean, not that long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, I was watching a thing on television about you know, the diversity and this, that, and the other. They picked some small town in Missouri or somewhere.
Yeah.
One of these towns of maybe 5,000 people or something like that, or 10. You know, a small town. And they're talking to these people who have lived in that town. I mean, their families have lived in that town for 5 or 6, 7 generations, whatever. You know, maybe longer. I don't know. Been there for a long time. And so they have this history of the town being this and being this for 100 years or more, and now within just the past 20 years, they never had. Usually, you would have black and white people in just about any town.
Sure, yeah.
But they never had Hispanic people
Sure. Yeah.
in their town. Now they have, maybe they have 100.
Yeah.
You know, they never had Asian people.
Sure, yeah.
Now that they never had Muslims. Now they've got enough Muslim people in their town. They're going to build a mosque on the back side of town.
Yeah.
They tore down our favorite blah blah blah, and they're going to put a mosque up there.
Yeah.
And when I was there, the thing was from the locals there was that they're taking away our town.
Right.
They're destroying our culture, and I would say that every one of the people they interviewed, I did not think that any of them came across as anyone that hated anybody.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
They didn't. You know, they're down home country people.
They're scared.
But they're scared. And
Yeah.
but rather than going in and going, hey, now we have, what it is, you go, yes, your town is changing. It's not going to stay Norman Rockwell.
Right.
It's not going to.
Yeah.
It's changing. But change is everything. You can't stop changing. And why don't you embrace it and you might find that you might find that in the next generation that your town is better than it's ever been.
Right.
You know, that you have a lot of different with the different cultures coming in, just things like just having different foods and different traditions that are cool and this, that, and the other.
It could be fun.
They get scared.
They get scared.
Yeah.
Tulsa's like that.
Yeah.
I was visiting Tulsa, and then somebody like let slip that there was not a race riot, there was a race massacre within
Holy shit.
within 100 years, where they just round up all the black people in town and killed them. And
Jesus.
and now it's like it's one of the most diverse places I've been to in the middle of the Midwest, and it's so strange. I'm like, I got ramen there, and I never expected to get ramen in the middle of Oklahoma.
Yeah, exactly.
It was really good.
That's what I think should happen though, especially when you're doing with the no matter how big or small, you have to have like these like community outreach programs where people are mingling with each other. Like you can't just have everybody staying in their homes watching the news and like peeking out their windows like, oh, the Johnsons are moving in, I'm scared. Go talk to them. You know, they're people. I don't know.
You know, I went through that in the South, and not that segregation went in the North. Segregation was everywhere.
Yeah.
Still is.
Yeah.
But I can remember when, so after the civil rights movement, you really took hold, and so by the time we got to the 68, 69, 70, right in there, probably even more like 69, 70, 71 in that time period, it was like if you were going to sell your house, okay, now it's against the law for you, and when I say now, this was 1969. So here my parents had experienced that if a black couple walked up interested in buying our house, they could either just not answer the door or go to the door and go, this ain't a neighborhood for you.
Right.
You know, I mean, something along that lines.
Yeah.
And that was, you could do that.
Yeah.
And then in about 5 years, that changed to where that black couple can sue your ass for doing that. You could be punished for doing it. It's against the law. Yeah, or it's against, you can't do it. And I can remember people talking about, I'm selling my house, but we all got together and told the kids, everything. If a black couple comes up, everybody hide under the bed. I mean, literally, like hide.
Yeah.
And it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it just, and once again, I don't think that a lot of these people, I look back in my neighborhood and this, that, and the other, I don't think they hated like white supremacist hate.
Yeah.
Lynch.
Right.
Not that shit didn't happen. It did. It was awful. But most of these people were, but they're not comfortable. And it wasn't a matter of black. It could have been black or Hispanic or Asian or any different culture. They would have been just as uncomfortable with, And in that light, we've come a tremendous long way.
Right.
I think since 1970.
Sure.
But
you said
as we've seen, we still got a long way to go. That's for sure.
It's that comfort feeling that like you have to get outside your comfort zone to get more comfortable.
That's right.
That you expand, like your comfort zone starts really small when you're, especially depending on where you grow up, but like you're supposed to expand those horizons. Otherwise, like, what's the point? Why leave your house? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Well, I know, because when I grew up in Chattanooga, it was almost all white how I grew up. And then I went to college in Memphis. And Memphis was like almost 50-50. It might have even been stronger African American than to white. So all of a sudden, I'm around a lot of black people, And now I'm the type that goes, this is kind of a neat experience, It's different.
Yeah.
And I won't say at times you didn't feel a little uncomfortable, but then you'd feel uncomfortable in a situation where you're way the minority.
Right.
But then you ended up having fun that night. You had a great time. You met some new people.
Yeah.
And you go, well, shit, that's, And then over a period of time, to me, is that I think the hardest is to be able to look past their race.
yeah.
That's just it really is. Their race is the same as whatever clothes they're wearing that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like I don't trust anybody that wears a suit and tie
Right.
in the middle of the day. I don't trust them motherfuckers.
Yeah. Exactly.
If you ain't in jeans and a t-shirt, I'm not comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But when you can look past race and just go, let's just find out who they are.
Uh-huh.
Do I get along with this person?
Yeah.
But it takes a little getting used to. I'll admit it.
And that's what it is. And it's just like, it's just cultural differences. Or sometimes it's just differences in personalities and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
sure,
Individual differences.
Absolutely.
I've met assholes of every race. And I've met good people of every race. It's like, it's just one of those things, you know? An ego is an ego is an ego. Like, you're just
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go out here and check out the end of Al's show. I think he should be wrapping up here soon.
All right, cool.
All right.
We'll
That's
wrap it
good.
up.
Y'all keep talking.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you
Yeah,
being
yeah,
on and
this was
everything.
fun.
This was
Thanks.
fun. Cool concept. Hey, thank you for listening to yet another episode of the Conversation Podcast here at Mccurdy's Comedy Theater. Please go to our website, mccurdyscomedy.com, to view all of our upcoming shows and events. Also, if you liked Al Romas, follow him on his website at alromas.com. That's ALROMAS.com. And Mike Cronin is a very funny comedian out of Chicago. Follow him on Twitter at BoneSnake3. That's a joke that he does in his act, and it's a very funny one. And thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.